Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone, and welcome. So, I'm recording both a podcast and this YouTube video. And in today's episode, what I want to talk about is why people do messed up ish, why people do messed up stuff, you know. So, as always, make sure that you head over to hectorsalva.com, HECTORSALVA.com, and go ahead and subscribe to the newsletter, as well as that's where you'll get all our latest stuff. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and click subscribe. And if you're on the podcast, subscribe to that. We're on iTunes, we're on Google Podcasts, Spotify, as well as all the other apps. So, I recently just did a short little book trailer, just as a little, hey, maybe you saw it, maybe you didn't. My newest book is coming out May 1st, 2020. It's called The 21 Divisions, Mysteries and Magic of Dominican Voodoo. It's already available for pre-order on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, IndieBound, probably a whole bunch of other book places. So you definitely want to go and grab your copy now before it actually comes out so that you can have it right away. That's one. Two is if you've already grabbed and pre-ordered a copy, I thank you for your support. I've had lots of people tell me that they've already have their copy pre-ordered. Thank you immensely, and I know that you're going to enjoy it. And three, if you've pre-ordered and if you're going to order quickly soon, I'm planning to do something as far as a giveaway or a contest or something. I haven't yet put that plan together. So anyway, into today's episode, why people do messed up ish, why people do fucked up shit. Basically, just to get to the real root of it, is basically most people do messed up stuff because messed up stuff has been done to them. It doesn't make it right, it doesn't make it okay, but this is actually the real reason. And in many cases, you yourself and even people who consider themselves innocent have done the same thing without realizing. So, just to give you a case in point, an example is, you know, you have a bad day, you had a bad day at work, you had problems with your boss, you had problems with your coworkers, you lost your keys. It was one thing after the other that went wrong. Then later on that evening, for what seems to be no real reason, or really is a collection of your frustration throughout the day, you know, your child or your partner or a family member says something to you and you snap out at them and you throw your anger at them, you get upset with them, you go to an extreme where it wasn't really required. That's just an example of how at times one does messed up things without even realizing it because messed up things have happened to you. So, with that being said, that means that most no one is innocent. No one is really innocent, although everyone likes to think that they are. Everyone loves to think that they are because it's part of our human nature that doesn't like to accept blame for what we've done. And it's very normal. It's not, it's something to work on like many other things. But the real reason why many people do messed up things is because messed up things have been done to them. And without realizing it, people go ahead and continue to perpetrate messed up things onto others without even realizing it. They start doing other messed up things as a result of having had messed up things happen to them. Everyone has messed up shit happen to them. It's part of the journey of life. Everyone has uh, an incredible ride that varies from every individual. And everyone has their own experience. With that being said, when these things are not properly dealt with, healed, and taken care of, they become the triggers and the factors that cause you to do messed up things to other people without even realizing it. Sometimes people do messed up shit on purpose. That is true. But that's actually less often than it is more common that people do messed up things without realizing it. So oftentimes those extreme situations, like murder, robbery, things like this, many of these things are messed up things that people do on purpose. But there's many other things that people do constantly and on a regular basis without even realizing it, without even being aware of what they're doing or how it's affecting others around them. And this is very normal. The problem is that when messed up things happen to you, you have to understand that it is exactly that. It's something that happened to you, and it doesn't mean anything about you. It doesn't say anything about you, who you are, or what's going on with you. Rather, it's something that happened to you. And however, when messed up things happen to you and they're not dealt with, and a lot of times they're not dealt with because, hey, we're busy. We sometimes think we've dealt with things and we haven't. Sometimes we believe that something was not that big a deal when in reality it affected us way more than we thought. And so, or for many of those, in life who really got to work hard at succeeding and making it through life, we are just too busy. The next thing is going on, the next thing is happening, the next issue, the next problem, the next situation to be dealt with has occurred. We don't have time to sit around, deal with things, and wallow. So instead, many things get buried into the system. And with those burials comes a forgetting. And we forget all about it to a certain degree. But our being doesn't forget. All the layers of us doesn't forget. And without realizing it, those things change how we live, how we interact with others, and what we do, say, and don't do. So these things then often become the causes or the reasons why we go ahead and perpetuate messed up things without even realizing it. You go into work without even realizing it. You may be too involved in your own world where you end up ignoring people. People feel slighted by it. People feel upset, irritated, angry. They feel like you did something to them on purpose. And then they go ahead and they perpetrate against you, doing the same thing back to you or something else. Sometimes with purpose and sometimes without purpose. Meaning sometimes knowingly doing something messed up to you, but many times not even realizing it. Many times not even realizing what they're doing, how they're acting, how they're behaving. In fact, people don't realize much of what they do. They move unaware of themselves, their actions, and the ripple effects that your actions create. Unaware of 80% of it. That's more than half. Now, with all that being said, that does not mean that because people do messed up things and because people do messed up things because it's happened to them and so forth and so on with you, it doesn't mean that it's okay. It doesn't mean to live with it. It doesn't mean to swallow it. It doesn't mean turn the other cheek. What it means is understand it and start to work on it for yourself. Don't be okay with it. Be okay with it, but be okay with it so that you can work on it, so that you can transform it. Secondly, it means don't take everything so personally. People take a lot of things very personally that are actually not very personal. Because Joe Blow, who you're taking it personal from, is too wrapped up in his own self, has his head too far up his own bum to realize what he's doing. So don't take everything so personal. Realize that it's something that happened to you and it's not something about you. It doesn't mean something about you. Three, of course, protect yourself. But four, resolve yourself. Resolve those things that you have going on with you. And when you resolve them, it is going to change and transform things for you. It is going to cause change in relationships and other people for you. So change those things that need changing for you. And it's actually a lot easier said than done if you don't have a guide and the proper system. If you don't have a mentor, a guide, a proper system, it can be a lot easier said than done. Because you really start to become aware of yourself. You're going to really start to notice where you are just as much a perpetrator of negativity as it's been perpetrated against you. Remember, and I cover this in another podcast, I'm not sure if we have it up on YouTube yet, to start saying yes to life. Life is here for you. Existence is here for you. So start saying yes to life. Start bringing life in. Stop rejecting life so much and others. Negativity is very subtle. And sometimes what appears to be negative actually is not negative. And sometimes what appears positive is actually very negative. I'm laughing because this reminds me of another podcast and a video that I did where people posted comments who would probably personally believe themselves to be very positive individuals. but in reality, their negativity is spewed. Now I'm gonna do another video about that just because I find it so funny. Um, but back to the point is that start to realize where that negativity is spewing out of you. Negativity is very subtle. And a lot of people are spending their life being with a negative attitude towards life, a negative attitude towards what God has given you. Try to bring in a positive attitude. Again, if you don't have the proper system, this is easier said than done, which is why most people struggle with these things and then give up. However, there actually is a proper system. There actually are proper systems that work. Systems where you don't have to fight against yourself in order to try to be positive. Because if you're trying to be positive, you are not positive. You are not yet positive. And you're going to find yourself being pushed and swayed back into the negative. But with the proper system, giving you the proper secrets and steps, techniques and the steps that you need, the process becomes very simple. It's a simple taking a few steps, really transforming you. So if you need that type of help, feel free to email us. And I'll put my email in the description below so that we can help you to get that peace, that yes attitude, that positive attitude, right? And really heal and transform your situation so that you can change your life. Because your life is important. And I care about you, and I care about you being able to achieve what life has here for you. And there's a lot of things that life really has here for you. It has it here. There's peace, there's bliss, there's joy. And these things, you can have them. But you need those proper steps. You need to be able to have those key tools, techniques, and secrets that are going to unlock those doors for you. And I can feel your struggles, your situations, your issues. I have dozens of consultations every week, and we're working with tons of people, absolutely transforming them. I receive, I don't know how many emails. So I understand, and I feel your struggle. I understand, I feel your pain. And I'm here to say that it doesn't have to be that way. There is a way. There are ways to achieve that positive life, that happy life that you know you're here to have. There are powerful systems that can really take you there. You just have to take the first step. And as a wrap up, remember, okay, people do messed up things because messed up things have happened to them. Most of the messed up things that they do, they're unaware of. It doesn't make it okay. You may also be doing these things without awareness. Again, it doesn't make it okay. However, when these things happen, it doesn't mean anything about you. In fact, it means more about that individual and what has happened to that individual. Don't take it so personal. It has more to say about something other than you. It is something simply that has happened to you. And many blessings, many blessings to all of you. Again, if you haven't done so, go ahead and click subscribe, iTunes, Google Podcast, on the YouTube. And if you haven't already ordered, go ahead and check us out on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or IndieBound. Type in Hector Salva. You'll find my newest book that comes out on May 1st, 2020, The 21 Divisions, Mysteries and Magic of Dominican Voodoo. And you'll be able to grab that there. So many blessings. Until next time.